So, hello everyone.
Hi, I'm Kavina, and I'm co-founder of Danceability. I'm a Biodanza teacher and a inclusive dance teacher. Biodanza translates as dance-based personal development. It's basically a Spanish word which means dance with life. And I discovered Biodanza about 15 years or so ago through doing various personal development on myself and looking how I could help my disability. I've got dyspraxia, and at the time I had low confidence, poor self-esteem, and I wanted something that was going to really improve how I looked upon life. And I always wanted to dance as a child, but because of my dyspraxia, I was never able to become a regular in a normal type dance class. But with the Biodanza that I discovered through joining another group who introduced me to the Biodanza, then I realised I didn't have to worry about getting steps wrong and I could just move freely. So having found this new expression of life that I really fell in love with around my 40th birthday, I decided I'd go and teach and become a Biodanza teacher. And I did 3 years of training, and yeah, I've been teaching since 2011. And I now work with people who have got disabilities and learning difficulties. I run regular classes in Greenwich, and I co-founded Danceability with my daughter, who also got a disability and has worked within inclusive dance classes as well. So yeah, that's basically how I got into it. I really love my work. It's changed my life. It really helped with my condition, my dyspraxia. You know, now I'm a different person. I can socialise more. My balance and coordination is much better. And in fact, as a result of the changes in my life, I wrote a thesis called Waiting, Relating and Coordinating, which was about my journey to become a Biodanza teacher, which I use now to speak at events. I've spoken at the Best You show, I've spoken at the Enfield Wellbeing show, you know, so it's really, really moved me on. And you know, the groups that I work with, like I said, the learning difficulties and mental health are really, you know, recognising the power that the Biodanza has, like I have found. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit, what happens in a class? How does it all work? You know, for somebody who's never been before, what would they experience?
Well, in the Biodanza class, the exercises are more free expression, although the teacher will guide the session with the demonstrations. But basically, exercises are done as a group, individually, and in pairs with changes. So you'll begin in a circle and you'll often end in a circle, and we have some quite vital, fun, playful exercises to begin with, a bit of walking, you know, maybe some games, you know, to bring up people's energy and to get them a bit loose and relaxed so that they can socialise better with the people in their groups. And then we'll do some more kind of connecting exercises. There'll be a little bit in the middle where you slow down and you may go into yourself more, do a little bit of stretching, a bit of breathing, and then you kind of come out the other end on a high, so that towards the end, you know, there's more connection and you finish in the circle. So the actual Biodanza class starts from there, and it comes round, down and up and out, and each session is different. The music we use can vary from anything from like South American rhythms to sort of pop songs from the 60s to even modern day stuff. But the music has to be set for a particular exercise so that it works, so that it has the right effects. So you can't just put any old track on for any kind of exercise. It has to be specially tested to get the right effects.
So it sounds very much like it's a journey of both like mind, body, and soul all coming together in one full move of dance class.
Yeah, so we don't speak during the class either. So people have the option of talking before the class, like in the opening circle, you know, and then, you know, at the end of the class, there's options to speak. I generally have get-togethers before the class and after for my group to share things, because we try not to speak during the sessions unless it's absolutely necessary in order for the process to work better.
That's fantastic. And you mentioned as well that, you know, sort of it's helped you, and you know, and if anything, you are a walking, talking poster child for so, you know, and you can see the difference in how you've shifted and changed over the years, which is fantastic. So, you know, if there is somebody watching, you know, maybe, oh, I don't know if this is quite right for me, and you know, give it a go. What would you say to say, come and try a class and give it a go?
I would always encourage people to give it a go. The best way around it is if you could have a friend to go with you, because sometimes when you do the connection exercises, some people can be a little bit, well, I'm not used to holding hands with somebody I don't know, you know, things like that. So, you know, if you go into a class for the first time, maybe, you know, take on a friend or a family member, somebody who you're quite comfortable with, like dancing in a more connected way. And then that way people can be more confident with their expression, because it can be quite daunting. But then there's lots of different classes, and some classes are smaller, some classes are bigger, and it depends sort of on the individual and their personality as to sort of what type of class they want to go to. I mean, my group in Greenwich is quite small, but then it works well for the people who prefer smaller groups, who might need that little bit more attention, like if you've got a disability, things like that. Where there are bigger groups as well for more confident people who want to hide, you know.
That's you know, and the thing that I love about this is that it's an all-inclusive group. It doesn't matter who you are, what your ability is. Anyone can have a go.
Everybody can do it, anybody and everybody, because there's no dance steps. You know, you haven't got to be a dancer. You know, it's more about movement. I mean, my group in Greenwich, for example, is a very mixed group. I've got a mixture of adults who are sort of older, much older, pension age. I've got younger people, my daughter's age, you know, with learning difficulties. I've got some wheelchair users. I've got one or two people with like mental health problems. It's a mixed group. And most of the classes, I mean, I've got like a little mixed gender group as well. I'm quite fortunate. I've got some of the other classes have got more females, because more females tend to go to dance, and tend to be a lot more older people, because it's generally sort of when you get sort of 30 plus that people tend to look more for personal development. But there are groups where younger people are coming in, particularly from where they've come abroad, because there's a lot more biodanza abroad in Europe and South America, which tends to have a lot more younger people in. So a lot of the younger generation now are coming into classes who have already experienced it abroad. But yeah, it's a powerful system, you know, and there's also specialist work going on, what we call social action. So you know, aside from the work that I do with disabilities, you know, you've got people who work specifically with young children in the education system, you know, people who work in hospitals. There's all sorts of ways you can take the biodanza. There's universities, and people who come into it and do the training have come from all sorts of working life and, you know, backgrounds. You know, we've had people who worked in the city for years and years and years and suddenly became interested in biodanza, and their whole life changed because they're now living in the country. You know, you have people who have gone through really traumatic experiences, ex-addicts, all those kind of people who come into biodanza or even become teachers, who their whole life's changed. You know, just like my life changed, you know, that helped my disability. There's all sorts of amazing stories within the biodanza system. It was created by Rolando Toro in the 60s, and his very, very early work started with sort of learning disability patients, mental health patients in asylums, and that was another reason why I so wanted to carry on this work.
That's fantastic. So if somebody wants to get in touch with you to, you know, maybe find out more or to join a class or find out how they can teach or something like that, how would they get in touch with you?
Okay, so there's obviously the Danceability website and Facebook group. There's also a Biodanza in Greenwich Facebook group where they can contact me. Also, I'm on the committee of the Biodanza Association UK. So if we went into the Biodanza Association UK, myself and other teachers who teach Biodanza are all registered on the UK website, and it explains sort of where they teach and, you know, and the sort of things that we kind of offer.
Yeah. And that's Biodanza, which is Biodanza.
Yes, yeah. Biodanza. You know, you just put in Biodanza Greenwich, because that's my email. biodanzagreenwich@hotmail.co.uk.
Fantastic. And you know, I would love to talk more about this, but unfortunately we're running out of time now. But you know, if there's one sort of pearl of wisdom you can give people watching today, or you know, one nugget of information you can leave them with, what would that be?
I would say never be afraid to step out of the box. Never be afraid to take that risk and do something new or change direction. I mean, in today's society, particularly with the pandemic, you know, lots of people have lost their jobs, and it might be now a time when they rethink and, oh, I've always wanted to be a writer, I might start writing. You know, never let fear put you off those initial ideas, because you never know. It's always good to get out of your comfort zone, even if it's just a small step, because by stepping out of that comfort zone, it can take you a long way. And that's a crucial part of personal development, by being willing to accept, well, changes need to be done. I need to step out of my comfort zone. You know, and that was a great time to do it, having with all the COVID and pandemic. Perfect time for people to make those changes.
And I think you're quite right. You know, sort of don't be afraid, just go out there and do what you've always wanted to do. Lovely. Kavina, thank you so much for your time today. It's been an absolute pleasure talking with you. And, you know, hopefully at some point in the future we can have you back for a longer chat. But for now, thank you so much for leaving us on such a brilliant piece of information as well.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure. It's been my pleasure.
Fantastic. Thanks very much. Bye.
You take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.